Caller, you're live on the air. What's your name, comment, and or question?
Hey, Ben, it's Bryce. What's going on?
Bryce, how you doing, man? Glad to have you. What's on your mind?
Well, I was very happy with the debate. I was very happy with what Bernie did. Phil and Mike was there supporting. It was just real good turnout, real good atmosphere. Obviously, Hillary is doing what she's doing, and I don't think it's going to work because you can say the gap is closed. You can say Bernie gaining momentum. I feel like it's going to come at a great, position. And my question for you is, I know you talked about Bernie and Cornel West wanting Obama to be progressive, and of course they hammer him on not being as progressive enough. My question is, what do you think went wrong with him being the progressive president that he wanted to be or was running to be? What happened? What went wrong? And are you concerned that if Bernie does win, can he be the progressive president? Will he get progressive stuff done?
Great questions. Bryce, I'm going to answer that one off the air for you. But thanks so much for the call. And those are really great questions. Thanks, man.
Great.
This is what we talked about with H.A. Goodman last week. And this is where the conversation really got substantive, right? We had a 30-minute interview with H.A. Goodman. I would say the last 10 minutes of it was extremely valuable and substantive, and you guys should go back and listen to it. Bernie Sanders, it is the office of the presidency. It is the role of the presidency in this military industrial complex in the neoliberal economic framework. The role of the president has been the same for the last 40, 50 years, with very modest shifts to the left and very modest shifts to the right. To that end, it's very difficult for any president to get in there and affect real progressive change. But it becomes that much more impossible when you, two things, take money from Wall Street, and then two, stack your cabinet with Wall Street, right? Timothy Geithner was straight from Wall Street. And I believe he was the first Secretary of the Treasury for President Obama, not to mention all of the other people he surrounded himself with. By virtue, now, don't get me wrong, the buck stopped with President Obama, and it's ultimately his fault. But this is really an extension of Rahm Emanuel being his first chief of staff. Rahm Emanuel ensured that President Obama's staff and cabinet was completely establishment. So two things that gives us a fighting chance with someone like Bernie Sanders is the fact that, one, he has not taken any money from Wall Street. And number two, he's not going to put anyone in his cabinet from Wall Street. I mean, I don't see at this point Bernie Sanders turning on that campaign promise, because it's at the core of him, right? We're not talking about something that he's just said in the last, 3 years because it's convenient, right? We're not talking about changing his opinion because it's convenient. We're talking about something that has been at the core of Bernie Sanders for the last 40 years. And to prove my point, I'm going to play a clip of Bernie Sanders back in the 90s. Hang on, let's start here. I want to show the video. I have a video of Bernie Sanders back in the 90s. And listen to how he was talking in the 90s when he first got to the House of Representatives. He's not even a senator yet.
That a Congress which allows 5 million children to go hungry, 2 million people to sleep out on the streets, cities to become breeding grounds for drugs and violence. And they say, we're getting tough on crime. If you want to get tough on crime, let's deal with the causes of crime. Let's demand that every man, woman, and child in this country have a decent opportunity and a decent standard of living. Let's not keep putting poor people into jail and disproportionately punishing blacks.
That was Bernie Sanders in the 90s, right? So this is something he's been stumping. He's been saying the same thing for 40, 50 years. So I have a lot of confidence in the fact that he is going to hold true to who he really is. And I actually have a lot of confidence in the fact that Hillary Clinton is going to hold true to who she really is. This is Hillary Clinton. Let's see. Hillary Clinton. Where's my clip of Hillary Clinton in the 90s? It's around here somewhere. Okay, I can't find it. It's not, I don't have it that readily available. But Hillary Clinton in the 90s, she was essentially, stacking the deck in favor of the crackdown on crime, the war on crime. So to answer your question, Bryce, the simple fact is that this is at the core who Bernie Sanders is. Now, do I think it's going to be difficult? Yes. Do I think it's an uphill battle? Yes. Do I think he needs congressmen, senators, and governors on every level, down to the local mayoral level? Yes. But we're seeing that he's mobilizing this idea, and it's God, if I wish I can help you guys to understand. For me personally, it has nothing to do with Bernie Sanders. I like him. He's a likable guy. This has everything to do with what he's fighting for. The things that we weren't even talking about in 2010. This is before 2010. We were not talking about the income distribution, the inequity in the United States. This is something that is a direct extension from the Occupy Wall Street movement, right? So these are things, the conversation that we're having now was something that Democrats weren't even talking about 5 years ago, 6 years ago. And so it's not about Bernie Sanders so much as it is, finally, we have someone on the national stage who is genuinely talking about the issues, the fundamental problems at the core of our economic system. Does he have an uphill battle? Yes, but he is mobilizing, either indirectly or directly, candidates across the nation who are equally as progressive. When's the last time you saw candidates describe themselves as progressive Democrats? Right? I was introduced to a guy from Iowa who Kroger, I believe, and his title is not Democrat. His title is Progressive Democrat. It's like all of a sudden, it's okay to be progressive. All of a sudden, it's okay. You can call me a socialist if you want, because I actually know the role that socialism has played in the American history. So now Bernie Sanders is inspiring an entire group of candidates to be the progressives that they've always wanted to be, instead of being the triangulation, third-wave Democrats that have gotten us NAFTA, that got us the TPP, that has always started negotiations from the center. And when you start negotiations from the center with people who are hard right, we inevitably move further and further to the right, season after season, campaign season after campaign season. Will he accomplish everything he wants? No, he's not a dictator, right? But he's starting from a fairly left, not even a hard left. He's starting from an Eisenhower left, right? A Republican left, right? He's starting from the left in his negotiations, and he's going to be negotiating with people on the far right. So at a minimum, we'll find ourselves with policy solutions that are genuinely moderate. But when you have blue dog, third way, neoliberal Democrats who start from the position of the and start from a center position, I need some water tonight, apparently, then you're always going to find the solution or the resolution or the agreement, the compromise is to the right. And so Bernie Sanders is starting a political revolution, even if it doesn't end with him, right? No, not even, but thankfully it won't end with him. Even if he doesn't win, we're fighting tooth and nail to help him win, right? We're doing our part. But even if he doesn't win, the conversation has permanently been shifted to real progressivism and critiquing our own players who are not the progressives that they told us they were. And I think those critiques are legitimate, and I think we should be able, mature enough, to handle that criticism, particularly in the primaries. Caller, you're live on the air.